What's up, bro? What's going on, YouTube? Renegade Rebuilds coming at you with another how-to video. On today's video, we're going to be changing the front and rear brakes on a 2008 Dodge Nitro, approximately 150,000 miles. So we've previously jacked up the vehicle, we've placed the jack stands in secure locations, and now we're going to begin by removing both tires.
Alright, so we're going to start by removing the caliper with these two 10mm bolts here. Next, you want to remove this clip so it gives you more access to place the caliper on top of the control arm. And zip tie it to the control arm so the caliper does not fall and break the brake line. Now that the caliper is securely zip tied, we are going to remove the two 13/16 bolts that hold the caliper mounting bracket on. Make sure you break both bolts loose before you take them out so the bracket doesn't swing around. Now that the caliper bracket's off, take a hammer and tap the rotor off. Now that we have the caliper bracket off, we're going to remove the old brake pads. The old hardware clips. Oops. Your slide pins, clean off the old grease and install new grease. Make sure they slide in and out of the bracket nicely. Now you want to take and clean up your caliper bracket where the hardware clips go. Alright, to clean up the caliper bracket here, I have my Scotch-Brite pad. Just gonna clean off some of the old rust and dirt that's in there. Sometimes if it gets really bad, you need a wire wheel or a file. These ones aren't that bad, so we just Scotch-Brite them a little bit. Now you want to take and install your new hardware clips that came with your brake pads. You have the big clip here, which has to face outside of the caliper bracket. And then you have the little 90-degree tab that has to sit on the square lip here, facing outwards as well. And these just snap into place. Same thing for both sides of the bracket. Now you want to install a light coat of your brake lube on these hardware clips. And a light coat on the back of the brake pads. Now we're going to install our new rotor. So you want to clean the little bit of oil off of it that comes on them when they ship them. So a little bit of brake clean and a rag. Make sure you get the front and the back. Now you want to take a lug nut, put it on the bottom to help hold the rotor on for when you install your caliper mounting bracket and your brake pads. Now we're going to install the caliper mounting bracket. And the brake pads. Now you want to make sure the brake pad with the squeaker tab here goes in the back side of the rotor. Now that both the new brake pads are installed, cut the zip tie for the caliper here. Need to compress the piston back in, so take a old brake pad and a C-clamp and slowly start turning the piston in. Make sure it goes in nice and easy. If there's any resistance, then that means you have further problems. Now that you have the caliper compressed, you want to remove the old brake pad out of there. Install the caliper over the brake pads. Install your two 10mm bolts. Correction, 13mm bolts. And then reinstall your clip here for your ABS wire. Remove the lug nut, and then you can reinstall your tire. That's how you change your front brakes on an 08 Dodge Nitro. Alright, now for the rear brakes on this 08 Nitro, we're going to start with a 13mm. Remove the two 13mm that hold the caliper on again. Pry your caliper off. Be careful not to let it fall. Don't want to pinch the brake line and set it up out of your way. Now you want to take and remove the two 18mm bolts that hold the caliper mounting bracket on. Be sure to break them both loose before you remove one of the bolts. So again, the bracket doesn't swing around on you. Now that the caliper bracket's off, you can begin to hit the back of the rotor. This one's a lot harder to get off because it has the parking brake assembly on there and it likes to freeze up. So you'll have to hit the rotor and then spin it a few times to break all the rust free to get it off. Once you get the rotor to move a little bit, you can get your hands behind here. Take and put pressure on this side while hitting it so the rotor comes off evenly. Now that you have the caliper bracket removed, you want to take and remove your brake pads. And the old hardware clips. Goodbye. Now you want to clean the surface area where the clips sit. We have some Scotch-Brite here. Now we can install our hardware clips. Just make sure the big tab here is facing away from the caliper bracket, and then the little 90 here is sitting on the square lip, which is also away from the caliper bracket. and just snap them into place. All the big clips facing the outside. Take your brake parts lubricant, lube up the clips. And remove your pins, your slide pins here. Clean off the old grease so you can install new grease. Make sure they slide back and forth and rotate freely. Alright, so make sure you spray your new rotor down the brake clean, get all the oil off of it that they put on it when they package them. You want to get the inside of these rotors because they have the parking brake assembly, and get the front side as well. Now place the rotor on the hub here. Take and install your caliper mounting bracket. Again, this is a 18 millimeter. The two bolts that hold the caliper mounting bracket on. Go ahead and tighten those down all the way now. Now you can install your two new brake pads. Make sure you put the brake pad with the noisemaker on the back and apply your lubricant to the back of the brake pads once they're installed on there, or before you install them, your choice. Apply your lubricant, and you want to do the exact same for the rear brake pad. Now we have to press the caliper here, so take one of your old brake pads, set it in there, and take your C-clamp and compress the piston in. Make sure the piston goes in nice and easy. And if it takes a lot of pressure to push it in, you have other issues going on. Alright. Now take your caliper and install it back on the mounting bracket with the two 13mm bolts. That's how you install rear brakes on a 2008 Dodge Nitro.